They are not. Hello, everybody. Welcome to Thursday night. It is Thursday, April 2nd. Whoop, whoop. Whoop, whoop. Who's with me tonight? Jana's in first tonight. Welcome, Jana. Oop, I wonder. Russell Levy. How's things in Florida tonight? Jennifer. Number 3, Jennifer. Did I slow you down? Sue. Hey, Heather. How are you? Cindy. Michelle. Stephanie. Brad Hobbs. All right. We got a nice crowd going here already. Eric Abrams. Hey, Eric. How are you? Valerie Sanchez. Welcome to the party. Jenny Walker, Pasadena, is in the house. Excited to have you all here. Excited to have you all joining us tonight. Hey, Sylvia. Great texting, talking. I feel like I talked to you today, sort of. Happy Thursday from Colorado. Michelle. That's fine. I'll talk to Brad tomorrow. No problem. Hey, Catherine. Hey, Pat from Florida. Joanne. So glad to have you all here. What are we grateful for tonight? It's Thursday night. We're one day closer to the end. Hey, Julie Jankowitz. We are one day closer to the end. Let's start off our time together with what we're grateful for. Abe says he wants my scotch. Hey, send me a pen. I'll send you some scotch, I guess. I mean, we can have a trade program. And Abe would have liked Aunt Sarah. If you haven't heard my Aunt Sarah story, Valerie, Abe and you would really have liked Aunt Sarah. You're thankful for my knowledge. The sun was shining. Hey, Alicia. I could hang with Abe and have some scotch. Sarah with her first sale after a website update. Woohoo! Michelle with a great conversation with her landlord. Kitty, welcome to the party. Online sales paying my bills. Whoa, Gwen. Online sales paying bills? That's awesome. Landlord cutting your rent in half. Woo! Adele had a bright sunny day. Dazzle must have liked that. The sun shining on Dazzle. Yes, Valerie. In Charlotte, there will be a lot of scotch flowing in Charlotte. All right, Catherine. Getting your EIDL app done. Great online sales day. Got your shop. Kitty, that's great that you got your Shopify website started. Awesome. Awesome. Landlord waived April rent. Woo! That's awesome, Sylvia. That is great news. These are great things. That is awesome. I love all this good news. So I'm going to share today. I'm behind on my calls to everybody, and I truly do apologize for that, but I decided to take some time off today. I took, what ended up being like 3 hours off today, and I went and donated blood. See, I got my sticker, I got my arm here, all done up from donating blood. The need is great right now, and I went and donated blood. It's a longer process than it usually is because of all the physical distancing that they need to do, and extra cleaning on things, but it's an important thing to do because the blood supply is low right now. So that is what I did with part of my day today instead of returning all of your calls. So I do apologize that I didn't get to everybody today. I don't get time off, Karen, but I did have a couple of minutes, a period of time where I really couldn't do anything. I was going nuts, and they really wanted me sitting in one spot when I had to wait for different things, and I really couldn't do things because of all the physical distancing. They had everything laid out like not usual and not for my move around style. How's that? But it was important. It was very important to do, and I'm glad that I did it. And I want to encourage you, should there be a blood drive in your area, to donate blood. It's easy, it's painless, it's quick. It's a little bit longer. It's not quick right now, but it's a great thing to do if you are able to do it, because the supply is low right now. They need it, and they're doing everything they can to keep it safe. They're wiping everything down. They're limiting the number of people that are in the room at one time. They are wiping every blood pressure cuff, everything that they touch. They're doing constantly. I mean, to almost insane levels of sterilization, but it is good, and it's for everybody's safety. They have on the waiting chairs, even limited waiting chairs, but they even have those wrapped in saran wrap and everything, and they're wiping those down in between people. So again, a great thing to do. I'm proud to wear that sticker today. Hopefully I remember to take that sticker off before I throw the shirt in the laundry. But hey, not a guarantee on that, and a problem for my mother-in-law later. But hey, these things happen. Hey Scott, how are you? Thanks for joining. I see Dana joined us here too. Laura! Hopefully you have something to drink, Laura. If not, I know you're smoking a cigarette. Or I'll make you smoke a cigarette. That's another story. Okay, guys, we got lots to cover tonight. I'm glad to hear all that you were all thankful for. So, a lot of you have been frustrated with what the big guys are doing right now. And all the sales of non-stuff that they're selling, non-essential items that the big guys are selling, so Walmart and all the clothing and all the other stuff that they're selling, Walmarts and Targets and Costco's of the world, in addition to essentials. Well, there's actually been, Vermont is one of the first to actually halt sales of non-essential items, including clothing, consumer electronics, books, and sporting equipment. Such items must be removed from the sales floor or otherwise be closed off to shoppers. Shoppers can still purchase them online, but they cannot be shopping in the store for those items or perusing the aisles and such, to limit the crowds and the distancing. So it is all good. So that is a step that governments are taking. Vermont took that step. I expect other states to follow. They also eliminated home improvement chains from opening their garden centers. So at Home Depot, Lowe's, and such, they cannot. And Ellen's in the house. Ellen Adams is in the house representing Vermont tonight. So that is her state that is shutting all that down, and I expect others to follow their lead on that in the near term. But that was a big deal today. That actually came down when we were talking last night. I didn't get it till afterwards, but it is a big deal of what is happening. So I thought I would share that. Where's my notes here? There are a lot of different grant programs now. Hey, Ellen Didion, how are you? Say hi to Mike for me. I feel like he ate my dessert last night and he wasn't even here. But one of the other things I wanted to cover is there's a bunch of grants out there. A lot of the grants are by state. That there are different programs where states are doing business grants or cities are doing grants to businesses. But there are a couple national ones. MailChimp's doing something, Verizon's doing something, and we'll get the website updated with that tomorrow. So that, because Verizon's doing a grant lottery that has to be applied for, by Saturday. MailChimp's doing one, and these are just other resources. Throw your name in the hat. Facebook is doing a giveaway grants. Whether you win or not, it's worth your time to throw your hat in the ring. The one caveat to those, just keep in mind, unlike the federal grants, is there's likely a tax implication when it's all said and done. That it would be that the IRS would look at that as income to you, and there might be a taxable event there. Just keep that in the back of your head. Hey, Karen, in St. John, I'm not going for the Newfoundland. Don't get me started on that. But hello, I owe you a call too. I will get with you tomorrow, my friend. But keep in mind that side of things. But apply for these things, and we'll post more of them tomorrow. In NARTS, I'll get them posted, and Adele will share them out on the coronavirus page, Resale Strong, narts.org/Resale Strong, and we will get those. Hey, Nancy from West Palm, we will get those shared with everybody, because it's just, again, more that you can go after. Hey, Jennifer Henderson. Hopefully you and your husband are watching me tonight. Hey, Diane. So we've got a lot. We got some other miscellaneous stuff to cover, and then I'll get into the heat of what your guys' day has been. And no guessing on that. Okay, so not a lot of press on this, but just something to be aware. And again, we'll post this tomorrow. As part of the CARE Act, it passed paid sick leave, an emergency paid sick leave. Your husband's watching with you too, Bailey. I am loving it. I have honestly, and some of you find it funny because some of you are like hiding. Your husband's hiding off to the side while you talk to me when I've been following and calling people and doing FaceTimes with people. You are, the husband's in the background or whatever, and then bounces in with a question or something. It's totally cool. This is family. We are all family. We are all in this together. And I'm happy to talk to everybody. I mean, I've had husbands want to offer me their Blue Cross card before because, you take Blue Cross, right? Because this is like therapy. So I am totally there with it. I am totally there. I even think we had dinner one night, Bailey. Didn't we all go out one night? Someplace your husband was there. I feel like your husband was there. I've seen him. I know him. But moving on. So paid sick leave and expanded family and medical leave was passed under the CARES Act, and actually an employer notice requirement was technically went into effect yesterday, and the government came out with recommended notices for it today. So we'll post this tomorrow so that everybody can have it. There will be also, as part of that law, there is a way for businesses with less than 50 employees to get an exemption documenting why your business meets the criteria because it would jeopardize your viability of your business for doing it. Currently, there is no criteria defined to the regulations, and there's also deferment on any enforcement, but labor law people love to get businesses for the violation of not actually having the posters up. So I will send this out tomorrow so that people can get that posted and add it to your wall of 1 million labor law posters. Houston, see, yeah, we had dinner. I remember something every once in a while. So it's just a smart thing to add that to your business. Okay, so the big question of the day, shockingly, is about the payroll protection program yet again. Everybody is stressed out over it one way or the other, and what they do with it, should they apply, how are they going to get it? You got to keep in mind now, this is if you do it right, it's free money, and they've made the whole thing free, which originally it was only because you're getting 2.5 months payroll, okay? And originally they were only going to grant you back 2 months of it. Now they're granting you back all of it if you maintain 75% of your payroll. So let's start with, and again, I will post this form tomorrow, but we need to talk about it. So this is what my bank sent as the checklist of of paperwork that you'll need to provide with your application. We posted the application a couple days ago. That application stands. That is the application that is being used. Kelly, that's not surprising. And I think I owe you a call too, don't I? I feel like I owe Kelly a call, but that's neither here nor there. Maybe I emailed you and you didn't email me back a phone number yet. I don't know. But I do return everybody's call. Again, if you email me, and that's the best way to get a hold of me, please, and it's easier than Facebook because I can keep it all queued and it doesn't get lost. I have a lot of them, so I have hundreds of emails in there, and I return them all. Ask anybody, they get these weird calls. What's this call? I return every message, every call. Just include your phone number in your email because a lot of your personal questions about that deal with your specific situations is much easier to talk about than have 30 emails go back and forth. So I FaceTime people all the time because it's easier to get the point across. It's 75% of payroll dollars and hours. They're really looking for full-time equivalents. That you restore both in dollars and in essentially in payroll hours because they are looking for full-time equivalents in the math. So let's talk real quick about what the bank wants for your application. Okay? Oh, Michelle, it's my pleasure. So they want you to complete the application. That's the first thing. Okay? They want your articles, if you're a corporation, they want your articles of incorporation / organization of the borrowing entity, so your actual corporation. And then they want the bylaws, operating agreement of your organization. And I'm like, really? Haven't, even in my world, I was like, I haven't gotten that stuff out since, we became a corporation, probably. And I'm like, can't you just grab it off of our other stuff? I'm sure I had to provide some of this stuff to the bank at some point a million years ago. And he's like, no, I need fresh copies of all that stuff. And I'm like, okay, well, let me go blow the dust off it. But I found it all. And I, went out to the garage and dug it out and got all the paperwork and got that scanned in. So your articles of incorporation and the bylaws. The copy of all owners' driver's license that own more than 20% of the company's stock. So they want that. Then we get into payroll expense verification documents. What do you want? What do they? Bylaws? Yes. When you incorporated, you had bylaws. Your attorney who incorporated you probably printed off some standard ones, but they were all there in my incorporation book that my attorney took care of a million years ago. Even our stock certificates were in there. It was like, oh, hey, this is kind of cool, and our seal, our corporate seal. I was like, I never use this stuff for anything, but it made me want to go stamp the seal on some things today. Yeah, it's going to be looking through the garage for some of that stuff. Okay, so then they want your payroll expense verification documents. They want your IRS 940 and 941s for 2019. So your 940 is your annual payroll tax filing. Your 941s are your quarterlies. They want it all 4 quarters. I tried to say, hey, can't I just get away with the last quarter that I just happen to have sitting on the desk? And they were like, no, I need all 4 quarters. They then want a payroll summary report, which it should be easy to print out of any of your, if you use a payroll service, you should be able to get it from them very quickly. My accountant does my payroll. I emailed him. I said I needed an annual payroll summary like I would have for it, and for any type of report that like you would have for a normal payroll. I needed that on an annual basis for 2019. All the payroll services are getting this request now, so he shot it right over to me. A couple minutes after the email, I had that. If a payroll summary report is not available, then they want employee pay stubs as of February 15th or a corresponding period with a corresponding bank statement and a breakdown of payroll benefits, vacation allowance for dismissal, group health care benefits, retirement benefits, etc. So what they're looking for is really to come up with your total payroll. So when they talk about vacation and such, they're talking about people's vacation you paid. So if you had a manager and they got vacation time, they want the reports to reflect that they were paid for vacation or they were paid for sick time, all as part of this. So you're including as much as possible with it. Then, if you have any independent contractors, they want the 1099s for those for 2019. Again, we could have a whole discussion about why 99% of you should have no independent contractors, but we're not having that discussion right now, okay? But if you had any independent contractors, that they want the 1099s for them. You then have to give a certification that all employees live within the United States. And if any do not, provide a detailed list with corresponding salaries of all employees outside the United States. There's somebody I know I talked to that had a residence out of the country, and so that would have to be disclosed. But 99.9% of all of you, your employees' primary residence will be in the United States. And again, I will post this whole list tomorrow so that you have it, even though it's got my bank's name on it. It is going to be fairly standard for what all the banks are looking for. And then they want a 2019 fiscal year profit and loss statement. Again, that can come straight from QuickBooks. You didn't need anything fancier than that. Just straight out of QuickBooks. Your income statement standard report for 2019, boom, hit print, and that is what they are looking for. There is also a calculator available, and I have a spreadsheet that does all the calculations for you on payroll. It helps you plug everything in, and again, certifying that is your correct amounts. With it, because this is a lot of self-certification for this money. So I will post that spreadsheet again tomorrow as well, so everybody can have that, because it's a nice spreadsheet, and that's pretty much the part that I haven't completed. Was I didn't finish the spreadsheet this afternoon. Michelle, one piece of paperwork at a time. Don't get overwhelmed by the list. I saw the list and I'm like, this is more than they told me it was going to be. I've been on this all the time. I'm like, it's really not that bad. It's really stuff you can put together fairly quickly. The bylaw one and the articles of incorporation one really threw me for a loop. And I'm like, I think I might know where that is. Because again, it's not something you use every day. We aren't a big company. We're big to us, but we're not IBM. We're not Coca-Cola. You can use January, February. You can submit that as an addendum, Sarah. So Sarah started a second store in December, and her payroll doubled, and she wants to use some January, February numbers. You can use numbers up to February 15th. Okay. In this, and they will take that all into consideration in the math for this, but that's also, you're going to be on the hook. You got to keep in mind 75% of this, and why? I just want to. You're going to need it. Your bank needs it to certify to the SBA, and for LLCs, you do not have articles of incorporation or bylaws, so. Yeah, you're gonna need that stuff. I want to talk a moment, because I've talked to some of you guys privately about it when we've talked today. The reason. Let's talk about the reason the threshold dropped from 90% restoring your payroll to 90% to 75%. Is that, and why you got to keep 2.5 months payroll and only be on the hook for restoring payroll for an 8-week period, or for the days between now and the end of June. So let's talk about that for just a second. 75% restoration of payroll, that's a lot. Okay, but it's better than 90%. So a lot of people are just excited about that. Yes, S-Corps have bylaws. You have them somewhere. You had to have them to create your corporation. But I want to focus for a moment on the 75%. Okay? The reason that was reduced, the unsaid reason why that's reduced, and we've talked about it some here. We've talked about when the world will resume to operating, okay, when the United States will be back open for business, and when things will return to normal. And you know, my best guess is still the fall, or early fall for normal, late August, you know, September, things will return to normal. I still believe we're going to have a great year. But that's when things are going to return to normal, okay? So you have a period of time after you're able to resume operations if you've had to close, okay, until you can resume normal, okay? And 75% of carrying 75% of your payroll, sort of saying the government economists who are smarter than I am, okay, well, not all of them, but some of them are, okay? I'm not trying to blow up my ego here. But they're saying, they're expecting that you're only going to do 75% of your sales, okay, when things start out. And so that's sort of the math that they're doing with it and saying, okay, well, it's wrong to have them keep 90% of their payroll when their sales aren't going to be doing it, even though we're giving them this government benefit. So I just wanted you to have that in the back of your head on that. That you know, if you're back open in May, you may not do the normal sales you do in May or June, as things start back up again. You know, this isn't something that just starts at the drop of a hat. You know, it feels like we came to a stop. You know, we were going full tilt this year and things came to a rapid stop. But even that was a sort of a slowdown. We just didn't realize we were closed when we were closed. Because we thought we were still open. Jennifer, right. It is first come, first serve, so you want to apply. So this is a real key, and I had this conversation with my bank today. You want to apply as soon as you can. But I encourage you, and the better your relationship with the bank, the better this can be scheduled, okay, because banks are under pressure to get this money out as fast as possible. But I am encouraging you to say, hey, I am applying, I want the money reserved for me, which the banks can do, okay, so they can say, this chunk of money is for your store, okay. So apply for it, get the money reserved under the PPP for you, but don't have it dispersed because that's when the clock starts. You want to disperse it closer to when you're ready to resume operation. So you want to avoid taking it as long as you can. My bank actually told me they could hold it, and I have it actually in writing from them. They said, and you probably could have heard me say, yeah! I was so excited when they told me. They said they could hold it till, I thought best I would do was the end of April. I actually said that in one of the meetings I had this morning. I said, I'm really hoping they'll hold it till the end of April. I figure they got to get it out in this month to book the loan. And they told me in writing they could hold it, they could get it approved tomorrow, and then hold it till June 30th. And they have to disperse it up by June 30th. I'm like, are you kidding me? And he's like, no, here it is in writing. I'm like, I was doing a happy dance because that gives us time to ramp back up operations and get our cash register running again. And everybody's cash register is hurting. You know, one of my landlords called me today so that I could explain the PPP to him, okay, and how he can take advantage of it. Okay, so I'm explaining it to my landlord, and he's like, so I can bring some of the people back I laid off now and get this right away. I said, again, same with him. I said, is your cash register ringing right now? He's like, no, nobody's paying. I said, exactly, and he's got a lot of tenants. He has 500,000 square feet of rentable space, something like that. It's crazy the amount of square footage that he rents out. And he's like, no. I'm like, well, then wait to bring them back and bring your payroll back once it up. It's the the calculation would then start under that situation. If you took it June 30th, Eric, it would start an 8-week calculation from there of maintaining the 75%. Is the calculation that would have to do. It doesn't have to be spent by June 30th unless you start the clock ticking before then. Then it has to be spent, depending on which clock you start ticking, the 8-week clock or the 30 days plus June 30th clock. So you were a little bit off on that, but you're along the right ideas. But this program can issue money till June 30th, although it will run out of money before then unless it's committed to you. But feel free, if I'm confusing you, Eric, just reach out to me. You know how to find me. And it's not just because your name ends in Abrams, or starts with your last name starts with Abrams, but you know how to find me. So that was really exciting because they were willing to do that and hold it, and they put it in writing, which was just amazing. And so that got me really excited. But I'll have everything in tomorrow. I just have to sign the application most banks are your local bank, and if they aren't, Julie, so Julie's asking to apply at your local bank. How do you know if they're SBA partner? Ask is the simple answer to that. But the SBA has been signing banks up special just for this. So they've been adding new banks left and right this week just to participate in this program. So they've even been signing up some of the sleazy internet sharks because, again, they're just trying to get money out to people. So just talk to them. Email your contact at the bank, call your contact at the bank and say, hey, are you guys doing this? But get your applications in quickly. I mean, I just got to sign. I got to have Cassandra sign a couple of spots, and I got to do that one calculator for him. No, you have to submit them as part of the loan package, Jenny. Everybody wants this to get the package approved and certified by the SBA, and then the bank will have, a final loan paperwork to sign when they're funding it. So, but it's, again, designed to be a relatively simple process, but I know most people aren't used to grabbing all that stuff on that list. So don't get overwhelmed by the list. One step, one item at a time. Don't try to do the whole list all at once. I skipped around a little bit because of the stuff I knew I had right at my fingertips, and I organized it all in a folder. My bank's got a spot for me to upload it. And the big banks are trying to move it online. Wells Fargo, Chase, Capital One. I mean, even my bank has me doing it. They have a secure messaging app that I can sign into. And I'm a relatively small regional bank, 25, 30 branches. Yes, I'm up. Yes, a PDF. So that's all these documents I've saved as a PDF. Even if you just took a picture on your phone and sent them as a JPEG, but that's what I've been doing is saving them all. I have a whole folder of them, and tonight, probably more likely tomorrow morning, because usually after this call I am dead to the world, so I will upload those and have them on my banker's desk in the morning when he gets to work, just so we can get this done. Because, again, I want it approved and the money allocated to me. This next week is really from what I am reading, while there's a lot of news media reports that this is going to run out of money and everything else, since there's 2 start dates, and although I think they're going to mesh together, are you trying to jump on my video?
Photobombing?
You're photobombing. See, I didn't even have the right term. She's bombing my video. Since there are 2 dates, I expect, the danger runs the later it goes in the month of it running out of money. It will run out. There is, discrepancy. I expect it to get replenished once it does, but there is a discrepancy of who can replenish it. Whether the SBA and the Treasury can just say, hey, I need more money, and they can just have more money in their bank to replenish it, or whether Congress has to actually replenish it. there is that minor. That is correct, Michelle. I thought I talked about that the other night, but I may have missed it. Yes, no interest or payment if you have an existing SBA traditional loan, okay? There are no payments or interest for 6 months as part of the CARES Act. And no payback or extension to your term if you have a traditional SBA loan. And I thought I mentioned that the other night, but I've been talking about so many things that I may have missed that, Michelle. And if you have an SBA disaster loan from such things as a hurricane or a tornado, all those are out till January 2021. So, Jenny, in your case, I would get it in sooner versus later. The worst thing that they're going to tell you to do is that they're going to hold it to the 10th, So applying earlier doesn't hurt you. The worst thing that's going to happen to you is they're going to say they're going to hold it. Okay, that would be the absolute worst thing. And you will have had it all done and in. So I recommend just getting it in. Because there's a little bit of confusion on that and on the guidance on that. So I would just get it in. People I appreciate all the accolades. Honestly, I do this. This is my wheelhouse. This is what I can give. This is what I can help with. Do not ask me to put together an outfit. I held up 2 shirts today, and my wife told me this matched with what I was doing. So I sort of picked out my outfit today. But that is not my wheelhouse, okay? Setting up a display is not my wheelhouse. Helping my wife in the store, I feel really bad because on the days I've tried to go in and help, I have not been much help. Mostly because I've been tied up doing other things with this, and that is far more important. So she's kind of leaving me behind at this point because it's not worth the car time for me to be quote unquote helping her. So that is correct, Jenny. You don't have bylaws, and that's fine. If you have, Jennifer, if you have a current SBA loan, you do not need to do anything for the deferral. It is all automatic. It is completely automatic if you have a SBA loan in place. That the deferment and on principal and interest, that it's actually an abatement. It's not a deferment. Jenny, we're going to have to talk tomorrow. Your payroll and yeah, but the expenses don't matter. It's payroll that matters for this loan. They're going to do some stuff for it. It is you've got a unique situation, but this payroll protection program is all about payroll. So that's a question some of you have asked. Can you, because a permitted use for 25% of the funds is towards rent, utilities, and such, do you include that in the calculation of money for this? No, it is only payroll. Yes, so only payroll is used in the calculation, and I will post the worksheet of how to come up with what you're eligible for, tomorrow morning. The app and Adele will share it out to all the boards. I'm thankful for Adele for keeping, me sane in all this. You gotta keep in mind, I'm just one guy. I don't even have any hats. My wife's wearing many hats. I don't have any hats. Yes, Nancy, I've had that with other people. Just make another sheet of paper about it. Did I take unemployment? You bet ya. I absolutely did. And I don't have a problem with that. This job is a volunteer job. I do it for the passion. I do this for the passion of getting you all to the other side, because I have talked to so many of you, and I will continue to talk to so many, okay? But this is all about getting everybody to the other side. I've heard, I'm not really working at my store, Heather. I've done what I've done at my store is so negligible it's not even funny. The states don't have the forms for the self-employed ready yet. They really don't have it together. I was just talking to somebody in the last hour. And I don't mean any I'm normally bad with names anyways, but I've lost track of people with all this, and I mean that in the nicest way that I can make it sound, I think. But the states aren't ready for it yet, Sylvia. I'm really hoping next week they will. They'll be able to backdate it for you. There's a lot of pressure on them to get it done, but their systems just aren't ready. And you don't want to get declined, because the decline starts the process of having to go for an appeal versus just reapplying. And so you don't want to end up with that. My guess is either by next Friday or the following Monday, whatever that date is, it will be ready. I think Friday's the 10th, Monday's the 13th. My guess is one of those two dates, the majority of states will be ready by then. But I will keep you all in the loop, I promise. As soon as I know that, I will let you know. Yes, Lisa, if you are a corporation and you are paid on the payroll, yes, you can claim unemployment. You can go file that right now. If you are an LLC or a sole proprietorship, the states are doing that and allowing for unemployment. Okay, it was part of this the CARE Act package to allow for unemployment for those that essentially it was to cover the gig economy, people that don't get a paycheck, the 1099 people, the Uber drivers, everybody else. Okay, and including yourselves if you are essentially self-employed. That was designed to cover you. The problem is that the states aren't ready for what the feds authorized. So they have to update all their systems. And these are systems that were designed forever ago. They haven't been updated. They haven't kept up with the times. The last major update to any of them was during the 2008 recession, and that was a minor update to just deal with some of the extra payments that the government gave as stimulus. So they are working really hard to do it. But if you apply now, your claim will get denied and you will have to file an appeal, and the appeal system sucks. It's just awful. Do not put yourself in that position, whereas waiting a couple extra days will get you your claim to sail right through. So that's what's so important with that, is the sailing through versus waiting. I will post the calculator that the bank did for the payroll protection program. It's a great spreadsheet, and actually there's the indication that they want that as a certification as well. It's really easy to use. My email address, everybody, because I am there for you, and that is the best way to reach me, is Neil, Neil, at ECIstores.com. That's Neil at ECIstores.com. You can find me on Facebook. Most of you have my phone number. When you get a call or a FaceTime with a 508 number, that's your call from Neil. That's not call from some weird scammer or some person. I choose to FaceTime most of you when you have the access to that, because it creates a different connection and you need it. Nancy, that's awesome. You're the first state that's had that, and that is awesome if Ohio's doing it. Ohio is a very progressive state, and especially with retail. A lot of the state retail associations are run by people that have been or are part of Ohio. Matt Shea, who is the president of the National Retail Federation, ran the Ohio State Retail Federation. John Hurst, who manages and runs the Massachusetts Retail Federation, went to Ohio State. All these people know each other. They're all in it together. And everything else. Ellen, wait on it and see what they do. Call me. We'll talk about it, and we'll see what kind of response you got on it. It should be fixable. You should be able to go in and amend it depending on the state. But We'll figure that out. You're a part of the corporation, and you know the number. And you know what I like for dessert. So we're all good, Ellen. Don't worry about it. We'll fix it. So Neil at ECIstores.com. Don't ignore a number from a 508. Don't ignore a number from an 817 because that's the SBA calling you. And you're not alone running the store. I will be back tomorrow night at 8 o'clock answering your calls. And your questions that you send me tomorrow and the new issues that come up. Pat, I have to look at the Florida program to do it. Email me and I will take a look at that with you to see if there's a conflict. Some programs do not allow duplication if you take from one versus the other with the state programs versus the federal programs. But I'm happy to look at that for you. So email me. Again, my email is Neil, Neil, at ECIstores.com. Happy to take a look at that for you, Pat. Love you, love your store there. And again, my whole job here, my whole duty to this industry, to retail in general, and one of the people I talked to today, the reporter that I was talking to today, at one point, I'm just like, I'm helping anybody, okay? Unless they were going out of business before this happened, unless you were going out of business, you were getting ready to hang out the banner and hold your going out of business sale, there is no reason, zero, for you to be going out of business now. We're going to get to the other side of this. I don't care whether you're a resale store, whether you're a butcher, whether you're a baker, whether you're a candlestick maker. We're all going full steam ahead to the other side. We will get there. We are going to survive this. We are going to thrive. We are going to thrive in the time beyond this. The best times are ahead of us, not behind us. I am Neil Abramson. I do weddings and bar mitzvahs too. You are not. You and you and you are not alone running this store. I am there with you. I will be back again tomorrow night. You've know how to find me. I look forward to seeing you all tomorrow night at 8. Thank you. We are all in this together. Chris, a great way to end the evening. And don't forget to donate blood. You guys are the best. Have a great night. It's dinner time.